What if I told you this? That feeling you have where you've learned so many things, but none of them really connect. Years of studying a language, but somehow never being able to actually use it. That quiet realization as an adult that you can't really master anything new anymore. Or that low-level fear that when it comes to your own kids' education, you're not even sure you still have a compass. What if I told you all of this has already happened somewhere else? Not hypothetically, not as a warning, but as a complete, finished experiment. And I know exactly how it ends. I grew up inside that system, so if what you are doing right now feels necessary or competitive, or like this is just how things work, you might really want to see where this road actually goes. I was born and raised in China. I spent more than 40 years of my life there, except for 2 years in my early 20s when I studied in the UK. Like most Chinese students, I started learning English in elementary school. I studied for years. I passed exams. On paper, I used English successfully. Now, on this channel, I speak English for real. Not through AI voice conversion, not through instant translation. You can decide for yourself as you listen, am I just doing English? Or do I actually have the ability to think and express myself in it? And here's the irony, because AI has arrived. Everyone looks like they can do things now, but that's an illusion. Because AI has arrived, anyone can do any language, but they still can't speak. And because AI is here, isolated knowledge, stuff that depends on memorization, is becoming less and less valuable. What actually matters now is whether you can find pathways to solve problems. In this room, there's a guitar, a Gibson 64 Custom ES335 US, and over there, an amp, a Fender 64 Custom Princeton Reverb. Apparently, 1964 really works for me. I bought them in the last few days of 2025 as a way of giving myself a real reset of 2026. So here's a simple question. Can I play the guitar? That's actually a lot harder to answer than it sounds. I used to play. I followed sheet music. I practiced one piece after another. Once something felt familiar, I could play it for other people. It sounded fine, honestly. It sounded pretty convincing, but then it stopped for a while, and when I came back, everything was gone. I had to go back to the sheet music and start all over again. If you've ever learned classical piano, guitar, or basically any instrument, this pattern probably feels painfully familiar. I wasn't learning music. I was just finishing tasks. I could do something, but I never really had the ability. Now I realized language works the same way. In China, a lot of people study English for more than 10 years. They read, they take exams, they use English, but the moment they actually have to speak, their mind just go blank. And even before speaking, many people can't truly understand what they hear. Listening is hard. But here's the strange part. Once the same sentence is written down, suddenly everything makes sense. That alone should tell us something. Isn't this exactly the same as music, where you can only perform by staring at sheet music or memorizing it? I don't consider sight reading to be musical ability. At best, it's musical knowledge plus enough technical skill in your hands To me, improvisation is musical ability. And yes, there's a lot of bad improvisation out there, rough, repetitive, full of cliches. But even that, in my view, shows more real musical ability than someone who can only sight read, even if that sight reading is incredibly precise. And yet, I constantly hear people say improvisation can't be taught. We've all heard endless classes and lectures about improvisation, but who actually learned how to improvise just by taking classes? This is exactly the same with language. Language cannot be taught. It can't be memorized. It can't be drilled into you. Language is acquired only one way: guessing, by guessing it through. That's how every one of us learn our mother tongue. And when you learn another language, there's no second path. This is it. So if improvisation can't be taught, here is what I want to try on this channel. I want to show you continuously the entire process from being completely unable to improvise to maybe one day actually being able to. That might be valuable to you, and it's definitely a form of discipline for me. So subscribe. Let's walk this path together. Because here is the real issue. When we accumulate huge amounts of knowledge but lack the ability to organize, to predict, and continue in real time, this is not a motivation problem. It's not a discipline problem. It's an ability problem. And an ability problem is always a pathway problem. The way we've been acquiring things for decades looks eerily similar to the way AI works today. If we don't radically rethink pathways, the first thing AI replaces is not some abstract job. It's you. If the first decades of your life were spent walking the wrong road, do you actually have the courage to start over? Honestly, you don't really have a choice. And this channel will be here with you. In the West, there's this common image of Chinese students as very smart. People who know a lot. And that part is true. At the knowledge level, Chinese students often dominate. We memorize faster, longer, and more thoroughly than most people. That's what the system rewards. But knowledge is not ability. When it comes to building something from zero, reasoning through uncertainty, or solving problems without a preset path, many Westerners actually feel comfortable. We don't, because we can't. China didn't fail because people weren't intelligent. It failed because the system rewarded the wrong things for too long. Chinese students struggle with going from 0 to 1. But from 1 to 99, no one competes. That's not culture. That's conditioning. Eventually, I started looking at children. Kids today are learning more than ever. But if what they are learning doesn't start from their own genuine interests, their vitality shrinks. And a spontaneous early specialization never really happens. Their schedules are full. Standards keep getting pushed earlier and earlier. Performance replaces exploration. Kids look capable. They look accomplished. But the space where real ability should grow quietly disappears. If this feels familiar to you, you should be careful, because China has already walked this road. In 2021, official data in China showed that 17.5% of children and adolescents had mental health disorders. 24.6% showed signs of depression. So when I hear people in the West seriously asking whether they should learn from China's education model or anything, all I can say is this: too young, too simple, sometimes naive. This channel is about one question. How does someone go from looking capable to actually having ability? And if we truly valued ability, how differently would children grow up? How differently would adults live? This is not a teaching channel. I'm not here to give you methods or shortcuts. I'm here to think out loud, publicly, honestly, as someone relearning language, music, and thinking from the ground up. If the word ability still feels vague to you, if something here made you uncomfortable but also curious, then you are probably exactly where you should be.